Sheriff McGuire, will you lead us in prayer, please?
Father, we just come thanking you for this time of being together, Lord. We just ask that you would continue to provide for this county, Father. We ask for your provision upon each one of our lives, God. We just ask that anything we say or do today will be in accordance with your will, Father, and we ask all these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We'll go ahead and call Marshall County Fiscal Court to order April 16th, 2019. Let's see, old business. Approve the minutes April 8th meeting. Is that on there? I did. I went right over it. Thank you. There's a good reason why you're here, Dennis. We'll go back to correspondence. Personnel changes. Let me read this. March of 2019, Dennis Lewis, full-time deputy sheriff, termination date 3/1/19, voluntary resignation. Elizabeth Cosner, full-time deputy clerk, wage increase from $12.50 to $13.50, effective March 1st, 19, per Tim York. Vicki Frazier, full-time deputy clerk, wage increase from $12.75 to $13.75, effective March 1st, 19, per Tim York. Kristen English, full-time deputy clerk, wage increase from $12.50 to $13.50, effective March 1st, 19, per Tim York. Lakin Robinson, full-time deputy clerk, wage increase from $13.25 to $14.25, effective March 1, 19, per Tim York. Chad Ford, full-time road department laborer, wage increase from $18.07 to $19.49, effective March 1, 19, per Wendy Greer. Weston Blake Manis, full-time deputy sheriff, new hire, effective March 19th of 19 at $21.74 base pay per hour. Jay Daltrey, full-time deputy jailer, wage increase from $12.25 to $12.50, effective March 1, 19, per Roger Ford. Zachary Thweet, full-time deputy jailer, termination date March 9, 19, voluntary resignation. Tracy Story, full-time county attorney employee, wage increase from $21.57 to $22.02 per hour, effective March 1, 19, per Jason Darnold. Laura Willoughby, full-time county attorney employee, wage increase from $11.74 to $12.10 per hour, effective March 1 of 19, per Jason Darnold. Barry Taylor, part-time deputy coroner, termination date March 9th of 19, retirement. Jacob Ford, full-time assistant county attorney, decreased salary by $7,000 due to reallocation of salary between state and county. Let's see. See on here, I've got Brittany Heath out of my office that is going to be doing public relations duties, and for this remaining fiscal court or fiscal year out of my office, it was $1,300 for the 3 months. So I want to add that to that, and that would be effective. See, let me pull out my calendar. April 8th is when that would be effective of 19. So I would add that to that. This is just to update the court. So there's no action, I don't think, on these, to my knowledge. I can't remember. Or do we need action on that?
No, those are updated by
Each agency, okay. And that was within their budgets?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
I know it was with mine.
Yeah.
Yours, Brittany's.
Out of my budget, yeah. Okay, now we can go to old business. Approve the minutes for April 8th meeting.
So move.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's see. Let me jump to new business under B, ordinance 2019-03, bonds and first reading. I know there were some questions, and I see Brian here. Brian, do you mind stepping up there? Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Hope everyone's doing well.
Jason, you had some changes and some questions.
Yeah, and he did not draft the ordinance. He just kind of forwarded it on from the attorneys. And what I think happened, Judge, you and I talked about this on email and text over the weekend, is that they I think are obviously using a form, and there were some things that were not changed from the last time that they issued a draft ordinance like this. But I've gone through and made those changes, and I sent those to the court members on Friday, I believe.
Yes.
And we talked a little bit before court started, Brian and I did. And one question I had is that there were several provisions in here talking about redemption and investment that specifically stated that it would be given to the judge executive without further action of the fiscal court. And basically two questions arising out of that. Is that something that the court's comfortable with? And I guess directed toward you, is that standard practice? Is that normal for that to occur?
Yes, yeah. Generally, once we pass these, a lot of those powers are passed on to the judge executive, mostly for signatures and things to do with the trustee bank and setting up those funds. He'll be, the primary signer on a lot of those accounts that get established.
Questions?
So it's not it has nothing to do with rate, any terms, anything like that.
No,
It's just simply
no,
so
right.
that you don't have to come back to the court every single time he has to sign a
Sure, yeah,
piece
yes.
of paperwork.
Yeah, so this first reading of this ordinance just kind of sets out the general provisions of it. From here, we'll work with Emily and the judge and everyone to make sure that we get the term of the loan, of the bond issue that is desired and is in the best interest of the county. I know you got a little bit of debt outstanding, so we're going to probably propose we wrap it around there a little bit so that we don't give you a whole lot of debt burden right up front. And we'll present a few different options for that. Yes.
Could you, just for my benefit, talking about this optional and mandatory redemption? It's under section 3.
Mm-hmm.
I've read through it. I think I understand it, but there's a lot of technical terminology in there. Could you just kind of summarize that for me, if you could?
Sure. So the optional redemption would be what we refer to as a call date. That is when we can refinance this debt or the county can pay it off if they have excess funds. So similar to if you were to refinance your mortgage, you could, at this certain date that will be determined, refinance these bonds or pay off these bonds. However, it's unlike a mortgage in that 1 year from now, you won't be able to pay off extra interest. There'll be a set amount of time. Right now, the market is kind of accepting a 7-year call date. And we kind of balance that out and gauge the market when it comes sale time. What is the best? The shorter the call date you have on it gives the court more flexibility, but it also gives the ultimate bondholders more risk, meaning your interest rate's going to be higher the more flexibility you have. So, we will balance that out. Sometimes we have counties and cities that anticipate a large windfall. That you're planning on selling property in a few years, we may make that call date shorter so you're able to pay that off. So that's kind of where the optional redemption comes in. We don't want to fix it right now and say it's going to be a 7-year call, callable on February 1 of 2027 or something, because we're still a couple months away from actually issuing bonds and getting through the DLG process. The market could change, and We just want to make sure that we're able to have the flexibility to put the best scenario together. As far as the mandatory redemption, that's just generally for certain things. If the property were to, say, be destroyed by a tornado, something like that, and insurance is paying it off, there's no project there, the insurance money would go to pay those bonds off. I think that's the only time I've actually ever seen that occur. Other than that, I'm not real sure of any other instances where that would come into play.
And I'm assuming you worked with this law firm before, Steptoe and Johnson. This is
Yes,
pretty standard stuff.
Yes, this is standard stuff. They're a large bond firm in the state, one of the biggest. I looked on your 2012 OS, and this is the firm, maybe not the lawyer that did all the work, but the same firm that did your 2012 bond issue. So I knew they would have all the documents, and to get this turned around quick enough to have it today, I thought they were the best choice and a good bond counsel firm.
That's all I had, Judge. So.
Y'all got any questions?
When we met, he mentioned the 7-year window, and honestly, in this rate environment, I don't know that that's should be a huge concern to us, because rates are so good right now. To think that they're going to be like this in 7 years is probably not being very realistic. So we'd probably be better off keeping it than.
Yes. Right. So at that 7-year date, that your bonds are outstanding for the entire term, we're going to have a fixed rate. So, even if we get to 7 years and you're able to pay it off, or you're able to refinance it legally, a very good chance it won't make any sense, because rates are so low right now. So it'll just stay outstanding at the current interest rates. That just gives you the flexibility if rates happen to be low.
Do we, if we don't have any questions, do we just do a summary on this first reading?
What I'm going to do.
How do you want to do that?
I'm going to save the summary for the second reading.
Okay.
I'm just going to go through here and pick out some
Gotcha.
key provisions. Okay. This is the point, if you're watching at home, that you probably want to skip forward about 10 minutes. So. All right, this is ordinance yet to be numbered. But this is an ordinance of the Fiscal Court of Marshall County, Kentucky, Marshall County, Kentucky, authorizing and approving the issuance of general obligation bond series 2019 in a principal amount not to exceed $3.5 million. The bonds, the proceeds of which will be used for various public projects. Authorizing the levy of a direct annual tax on all taxable property within the county, in addition to all other taxes, in an amount sufficient to pay the principal of and interest on the bonds when and as the same become due. Authorizing the establishment of certain funds to provide for the collection of revenues, if any, from the projects, and to the extent required, proceeds of the tax. Authorizing the execution of the bonds and the disbursement of the proceeds thereof. Authorizing the investment of funds pursuant to KRS 66.480. Providing for delegation by the Fiscal Court of authority to the Judge Executive of the county to determine certain matters relating to the bonds, and authorizing such other documents, agreements, and certificates necessary or required for them entering into of the bonds, including but not limited to a continuing disclosure agreement, and designating the bonds as qualified tax-exempt obligations for federal income tax purposes. Okay, so whereas the County of Marshall, Kentucky, acting by and through its fiscal court, desires to provide financing for the improvements to sewer and water lines, improvements to industrial park infrastructure, including but not limited to roads, turn lanes, and utilities, payment of capitalized interest and accrued interest, if any, the projects, and for payment of cost and of issuance of the bonds. Skip ahead here. Section 1 is preamble, incorporated ordinance, and contract, and that contains several definitions. Projects means improvements to sewer and water lines, improvements to industrial park infrastructure, including but not limited to roads, turn lanes, and utilities, payment of capitalized interest and accrued interest, if any, and payment of cost of issuance of the bonds. That Section 2, necessity for and authorization of bonds. That for the purposes set forth in preamble to this ordinance, there is hereby declared a necessity for, and there is hereby authorized County of Marshall, Kentucky, General Obligation Bond Series 2019 in a principal amount not to exceed $3.5 million is authorized by this ordinance, and shall be dated as determined by the judge executive upon advice of the financial advisor. The bond shall be dated as determined in the winning bid set forth in the official bid form and selected by the county judge executive without further action of the fiscal court and with the advice of the financial advisor pursuant to Section 6 of this ordinance, awarding bonds to the purchaser thereof and establishing the interest rate or rates on the bonds. Principal on the bond shall be payable at maturity. Interest on the bond shall be payable semi-annually at the stated interest rate or rates on the outstanding principal amount thereof. The bonds may be serial and/or term bonds maturing in their years and in the amounts to be established in the official bid form accepted by the county judge executive as a successful bid for the purchase of the bonds after advertised competitive sale of the bonds based on the interest rates bid in the successful bid and the provisions of this ordinance, specifically this Section 2, provided that the final maturity date of the bond shall be set forth in the official bid form accepted by the county judge executive as the successful bid for the purchase of the bonds, and such final maturity may not exceed maximum maturity as established in Section 66.091 of the KRS, and further provided that this aggregate net interest cost of the bonds shall not exceed 7% per annum. Section 3 talks about form and execution of the bonds, authentication, optional and mandatory redemption, which is what we just discussed here. Skipping ahead here. Section 4, compliance with the Constitution, designation and certification of public project, authorization of tax, pledge of tax, project revenues, and pledge receipts to payment of bonds, designation as general obligation bonds. Section A, that the debt represented by the bonds is hereby determined to be within the maximum indebtedness of the county permitted under Section 158 of the Constitution of Kentucky. The county is authorized to contract the indebtedness represented by the bonds pursuant to Section 159 of the Constitution of Kentucky and provide for the collection of an annual tax sufficient to pay the bonds and establish the hereinafter identified sinking fund to provide the payment of the principal thereof. Section C, that pursuant to Section 157 of the Constitution and KRS 66111, there is hereby authorized to be levied, and the county hereby does so levy each year the bonds remain outstanding, a tax in an amount sufficient to provide for the full payment of the principal and interest requirements on said bonds, provided, however, the said tax shall be collected only to the extent that the project revenues or other receipts from the existing county taxes or other sources are not sufficient to provide for the full payment of the debt service payment on the bonds each year. Now, just for clarification on that, what I just read there, this is not a new tax. This is just says that if under unforeseen circumstances that we don't have enough money to pay it, that we can increase our ad valorem tax, but this is not a new tax, so no new taxes. Section D, that by the adoption of this ordinance, the county covenants with the holders of the bonds that it shall levy and collect each year a tax in a sufficient amount and appropriate in its annual budget together with other monies available to it, including the project revenues, an amount of funds sufficient to pay the principal of and interest on the bonds defined in KRS 66.011 subsection 4. E, that the tax shall include the ad valorem property taxes permitted under Section 157 of the Constitution of Kentucky levied and collected by the county. Notwithstanding the foregoing, the tax shall only be levied, collected, and applied to the payment of said bonds, rental payments on the bonds to the extent the project revenues are not sufficient to meet such bond rental payments. Section G, that the county hereby declares and determines and certifies that the projects constitute public projects within the meaning of KRS 66.011.17. Section I, that the tax to the extent required in the project revenue shall, as received, be deposited in the appropriate sinking fund for the bonds and applied solely to the payment of the debt service of the bonds. Section 5, delegation of authority to determine certain matters relating to bonds. The bonds shall be sold pursuant to an advertised competitive bid under the authority of KRS Chapter 424. County Judge Executive is hereby delegated the authority to determine the final terms of the bonds upon advice of the financial advisor after bids have been received. Section 6 talks about execution of documents authorized, approval of state local debt officer. Section 7 talks about employment of financial advisor and bond counsel, advertised sale of the bonds and acceptance of the bids. Section 8 is establishment of the funds, that they are hereby authorized to be established the following funds or accounts which shall be maintained with the depository. Section 8, a sinking fund or bond fund which shall receive the receipts of the tax herein authorized to the extent required for the bonds, the project revenues of, or from the projects. Said sinking fund money shall be used only for the payment of the bonds, rental payments of the bonds. Upon the delivery of the bonds, any accrued or capitalized interest shall be deposited into said fund. Section B, cost of issuance of cost of issuance funds, which shall receive from the proceeds of the bonds the amounts necessary to pay the cost of issuance of the bonds upon delivery of said bonds. The depository shall remit the required payments in the amounts into the party specified in writing by the county judge's executive or county treasurer or other such county official as may be designated by the county upon the delivery of the bonds. Any amounts remaining in the cost of issuance fund following the payments of all such costs of issuance funds shall be transferred to the sinking fund. Project fund, which shall receive the remainder of the proceeds of the bonds and shall be used only to pay the cost of acquiring, constructing, and equipping the projects. Any amounts remaining in the project fund following the payment of all such costs of the project shall be transferred to the sinking fund. D, any other fund, including debt service, reserve fund, or other fund required by law, or deemed necessary and appropriate by the financial advisor. E, money is on deposit in the funds enumerated in section A through D of this section shall be invested in investments permitted and any earnings carried to the credit of the fund from whom the investment is made. Section 9 is registration of the bonds, duties of the bond register, paying agent, and depository. Section 10, tax covenants, approval of tax compliance procedures. The county shall at all times do and perform all acts and things permitted by law and necessary or desirable in order to assure that interest paid by the county with respect to the bonds shall be excludable from the gross income of the federal recipients thereof for federal income tax purposes under any valid provision of the code. The county should not permit at any time or times any of the proceeds of the bonds to be used directly or indirectly to acquire any securities or obligations of the acquisition of which would cause such bonds to be arbitrage bonds as defined in section 148 of the code as in effect. Section 11, contractual nature of this ordinance. This ordinance shall constitute a contract between the county and the holders of the bonds and any general obligation bonds or general obligation bonds subsequently issued ranking on a parity therewith, and after the issuance and delivery of such bonds, no change, variation, or alteration of any kind of the provisions of this ordinance shall be made in any manner except for the purpose of curing any ambiguity or of curing, correcting, or supplementing any defective or inconsistent provisions contained herein. Section 12, the county by adoption of this ordinance reasonably anticipates the total principal amount of tax-exempt obligations which it will issue during the calendar year ending December 31st, 2019 will not exceed $10 million and therefore designates the bonds as qualified tax-exempt obligations within meaning of Section 265B3 of the Internal Revenue Code. Section 13, 14, and 15 are just standard end provisions, and that constitutes the first reading of this ordinance.
Very well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What I'll do between now and next reading, I'll go back through this and make those changes final and get those to, yes. The other item of business is to execute this waiver. And what this waiver is about is that, as we've talked about before in fiscal court, the county is one of hundreds of plaintiffs across the country who are involved in opioid litigation. And Steptoe and Johnson, who is bond counsel on this, represents one or more of the defendants in that litigation, which is, of course, totally unrelated in any way, shape, or form to this project that they're helping us with. So that what they need for their ethical purposes, they have to have a waiver for their files to do that. And I see nothing wrong with executing that waiver.
Do we need a motion on that?
We need a motion on that.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And the other one, I think, is a bond engagement letter.
We also need action on that.
Motion on the bond.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Brian, I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Stick
Brian.
around
Thank
for a
you.
little while.
Yeah.
Rest my eyes for a second. Headed to Olive Hill, Kentucky, so across the state here in a little while. So
Outstanding.
got a little driving ahead of me.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you. We'll go back up to old business. Ordinance 2017-03-911, emergency telephone service enabling ordinance, amended 4/8/19, be second reading.
This is our second reading on this one, and again, if you remember from last week, the only change that we're making is to specify control over the CGIS link NCIC in the computer in the dispatch room. So we're talking about Section 2C. Section 2C. Management and control of the criminal justice information system, link NCIC, shall be the responsibility of the Marshall County Sheriff in accordance with the Criminal Justice Information Services Security Policy. These duties include, but are not limited to, number one, ensuring management control agreement and the policies and procedures incorporated therein. Two, adopting additional policies and procedures if necessary, not in conflict with minimum required security policies. Three, this is the added language, complete control over personnel who operate the terminals with respect to discipline, hiring, and termination in regards to CGIS link NCIC. And four, keeping the Marshall County Fiscal Court informed as to any issues that might arise with CGIS link NCIC.
Are there any questions? If there's not, then we would need a motion to approve the amendment to Ordinance 2017-03-911.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item on our old business, you guys should have had plenty of time to read this. Understanding it is another subject matter, but no, this is just for your review. This is where Markham has went in. The last time we had talked, there was some communication pathways with AT&T, and they went in, they looked at if that was causing some of the issues. Then there was some, I believe, one of our broadband internet items coming in the same way. What they identified, they shored up. So it's not creating the problem as far as the mode, to my understanding. It's more or less an area where they wanted to look at. They looked at it, and the representatives come out, but they've since fixed that issue. Where we're at now is Markham is going to continue looking into this problem. There were some filters on the HVAC unit that they had replaced. They thought that Russ does a better job at it than me, but the air issues that they were having inside the Judicial Center, they think that they've resolved that issue as well. So this is going to be ongoing, trying to identify a solution to fix this mode issue. So this is just a report for you guys to look at and keep you up to date, but there's no action item on this. Is there any questions as far as what's been performed to date? It's a pretty good detailed description of what they've done and what they found. So we'll have that published on the webpage, so folks at home, if they want to read it, they can read it. Let's see, new business. The Judicial Building Janitor Services, the bids came in. This is Magic Steam. Their bid is 2 full-time janitor staff, 1 part-time, all daily, weekly, monthly, and annual tasks that provided to us in the scope of work. Professional steam carpet cleaning 2 times per year, professional tile and grout cleaning 2 times per year, strip and wax 1 time per year, pressure washing of building and surrounding sidewalks 1 time per year, All cleaning supplies, toiletries, paper towels, hand soap, trash bags, and hand sanitizer provided by Magic Steam. Monthly investment, $10,000. We are certified in water mitigation and mold remediation. We will offer these services on case-by-case basis at additional cost. We're licensed, bonded, and insured. All of our employees are background checked and drug tested. We hire employees just for your facility. They are dedicated to your facility and aren't getting pulled off to other jobs. We hope to earn your business. So that's Magic Steam, Taylor's Cleaning and Janitorial Service, potential client, Marshall County Fiscal Court, for general cleaning, janitorial service for 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, monthly, semi-annual, and annual duties. I'm placing my bid at $650, negotiable, a month for all services. I'm fully capable and willing to complete the weekly tasks listed on the job posting. Thank you for your time and consideration. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me, Taylor Cruz.
Third page. Come up with a name
Yeah.
for themselves.
Okay. This is from Shauna Watkins and Andrea Fralix. May concern, the following is the cleaning proposal for the judicial building located on 80 Judicial Drive, Benton. Our goal is to provide a clean, healthy environment for our community through a commitment to do our best. We feel that our service may be of great interest to you for numerous reasons. We are in-house and trustworthy. We are determined to satisfy. We will provide daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly janitorial services that will include the following: daily services, offices, empty trash receptacles, replace all soiled or torn liners and clean receptacles as needed, pick up all litter not put in trash containers, dispose of boxes and other items marked trash by the facility occupants, dispose of trash and litter in dumpsters or area designated by the city or local government for pickup. The court facility is to be clean 5 days, nights per week, Monday through Friday. Restrooms, restock all supplies, paper towels, toilet tissue, soap, etc. Clean glass mirrors, flush commodes and urinals, sanitize all commodes and urinals, wipe down all surfaces, including faucets and door handles or push plates. Break rooms, clean any food spillage around cooking appliances, stove, microwave ovens, coffee makers, etc., and refrigerators. Wipe down countertops, tabletops, sinks, and appliance surfaces. Wipe down and sanitize vending machines. General cleaning, spot clean surfaces, horizontal and vertical, to remove all smudges, coverings, spills, nicotine residue, etc. Wipe down all drinking fountains. Wipe down work containers and public work surfaces, including but not limited to clerk area counters, litigation tables, conference room tables, etc. Floors, vacuum all carpeted high traffic areas, including halls, corridors, circulation within open office space areas. Spot clean carpets with commercial carpet cleaner, or if necessary, spot removal and wet dry vacuum to ensure stains are removed rather than spread and set. Outside of the facility, empty trash receptacles, replace all soiled or torn liners, clean receptacles as needed. Pick up all litter not put in trash containers, dispose of trash and litter in dumpsters or area designated by the city or local government for pickup. Empty smokers, outposts, disposal containers as needed. Maintain perimeter sidewalks, outside stairs and ramps that provide the direct access to the building and or the property in a clean, debris-free manner. Weekly services, floors, vacuum all carpeted areas, including office spaces, break rooms, and stairs. Damp mop all non-wood, hard surface traffic areas, including office space, break rooms, and stairs. Dust mop all wood floor areas, including office spaces, break rooms, and stairs. Bathrooms, clean and disinfect all dispensers, paper towel, toilet tissue holders, soap, etc. Clean and disinfect entrance doors, including bright surfaces, doorknobs, push plates, etc. Clean and disinfect all tile wall surfaces and partition walls. Clean and disinfect commodes and urinals, both inside and out. Mop and disinfect all floors. General cleaning, spot clean horizontal and vertical surfaces, removing any obvious stains or residue. Spot clean windows and doors, including glass area. Clean all public seating, cloth seats, brush out or vacuum, wood seating, wipe down. Break rooms, disinfect, sanitize all tabletops, countertops, and sinks. Monthly general cleaning, dust high above desktop level, including signage, and low below desktop level. Clean and polish entrance doors, clean baseboards, clean wainscot, except for the restrooms, which are cleaned weekly. Remove cobwebs and bugs from high areas, lights and corners. Vacuum air diffusers and grills. Semi-annually, the following services will be performed at least twice a year. Apply polish and buff hard surfaced non-wood floors to a high gloss. Scrub and clean all stone or ceramic quarry tile floors. Clean all wood floors. Apply polish and buff wood floors. Clean hot water extraction method, all high traffic carpeted floors, including halls, corridors, circulation within open office areas. Mop all sealed concrete floors. Clean light fixtures and light fixtures lenses. Vacuum clean all drapes and blinds. Annually, the following services will be performed at least once a year. Clean hot water extraction method, all carpeted floors, not cleaned semi-annually, including all office spaces, break rooms, and stairs. Clean and polish all window interiors and exteriors. Clean all blinds. Strip clean and apply sealer to all non-wood hard surface floors. Strip and seal joints in stone or ceramic quarry tile floors. Pressure clean walkways. Thank you for your time and consideration in hiring us to provide a great janitorial service. Our personnel would include monthly janitorial cost of $4,800 per month or $57,600 annually. Please contact us with any questions or concern if you have, and we will be pleased to provide you with any additional information required. If upon completing your review you would like to discuss this matter further, please contact us. And that's Sandra Watkins and Andrea Fralix. Let's see. This just might be another. Okay, I see what he did here. He made some copies for you guys. Let's see. Cleaning specifications for Morris County Judicial Building, 48,000 square feet. Service provided 5 days per week. General cleaning, clean entrance, exit glass doors, 5 days per week. Spot clean interior glass as needed. Clean and polish all water fountains, 5 days per week. Clean wipe all horizontal and vertical surfaces, 5 days per week. Empty all trash, 5 days per week. Sweep and mop all hard surface floors, 5 days per week. Vacuum all carpeted areas, 5 days per week. Periodic cleaning, dust windows, seals, blinds, fire sensors, and cobwebs as needed. That's monthly. Detail dust, high and low areas as needed. Weekly. Clean dust, air intakes, and ceiling vents as needed. Quarterly. Spot clean carpet stains or spills as needed. Clean wipe baseboards monthly. Waiting area, spot clean all walls, light switches, and doors weekly. Clean dust all horizontal and vertical surfaces monthly. Empty trash, replace liner each time, 5 days per week. Sweep hard surfaces, hard surface floors, 5 days per week. Damp mop hard surface floors, 5 days per week. Detail vacuum all carpet, 5 days per week. Organize, straighten magazines, pamphlets, and brochures, 5 days per week. Arrange furniture, 5 days per week. Judges' offices, spot clean all walls, light switches, and doors as needed. Clean dust all horizontal and vertical surfaces, i.e. desks, shelves, etc. as needed. These are on request. Empty trash, replace liner each time on request. Detail vacuum all carpet on request. Arrange furniture on request. Administrative offices, spot clean all walls, light switches and doors as needed, 5 days per week. Clean dust all horizontal and vertical surfaces, i.e. desks, shelves, etc., as needed, 5 days per week. Empty trash, replace liner each time, 5 days per week. Detail vacuum all carpet, 5 days per week. Arrange furniture, 5 days per week. General offices, spot clean all walls, light switches, and doors as needed, 5 days per week. Empty trash, replace liner each time. Detail vacuum all carpet. Arrange furniture, 5 days per week. Meeting conference room, spot clean all walls, light switches, and doors as needed. Clean dust all horizontal, vertical surfaces, i.e. desks, shelves, etc. as needed. Empty trash, replace liner each time. Detail vacuum all carpet, and arrange furniture. That's 5 days per week. Cubicle workstations, clean dust workstation, horizontal and vertical surfaces. Empty trash, replace liner each time. Detail vacuum under and around workstation, and arrange furniture, 5 days per week. Break room, spot clean all walls, light switches and doors, restock paper and soap products, clean wipe exterior of cabinets, clean wipe sink and counter area, clean exterior of refrigerator, clean interior and exterior of microwaves, clean wipe all tables and chairs. Empty trash, replace liner each time. Sweep and mop floors, 5 days per week. Corridors and hallways, spot clean walls, doors, and light switches, all hard floors swept, dust mopped and mopped. Detail vacuum all carpet, all restrooms, restock paper and soap products, clean sinks and countertops, clean and polish restroom dispensers and fixtures, clean and polish restroom metal and mirrors, clean and disinfect sanitary napkin dispensers, clean and disinfect all toilets and urines. Spot clean tile walls and the toilet partitions, sweep and mop floors, 5 days per week. Trash, all trash is to be emptied. Use new liners each time. Leave extra trash liners in bottom of cans. Clean, wipe all trash can lids. Take trash to dumpster, 5 days per week. Hard floors, all hard floors swept, vacuumed or dust mopped. All hard floors wet mopped lightly, 5 days per week. Carpeted floor areas. Vacuum all entrance mats and rugs, vacuum all carpeted areas, detail vacuum under and around all furniture, 5 days per week. Stairways, sweep mop stairways and landings, 1 day per week. Vacuum stairways and landing, 1 day per week. Elevator, clean wipe elevator walls, clean elevator doorway tracks, polish stainless steel surface areas, 5 days per week. Exterior maintenance, polish entrance area for trash, 5 days per week. Police area for trash. That term in a while. End of night, clean and straighten janitorial closet, 5 days per week. Turn off lights and lock doors per instructions, 5 days per week. Set alarm per instructions, 5 days per week. And that's West Kentucky Janitorial Services. Kentucky janitorial proposal for janitorial service is $4,325 per month. This is a janitorial service agreement for West Kentucky Janitorial Service. The following points for review are included in this proposal, simply to clarify and solidify a relational foundation between West Kentucky Janitorial and Marshall County Judicial Building. West Kentucky Janitorial agrees to provide all labor, supervision, materials, and equipment necessary to complete the services as outlined in the cleaning specifications part of this proposal. West Kentucky Janitorial will provide and maintain all insurance as required by state statute. Consumable products such as can liners, toilet tissue, roll towels, soap products, time mist aerosols, and the like will be provided by the Marshall County Judicial Building. West Kentucky Janitorial can provide consumable products such as can liners, toilet tissue, roll towels, soap products, time mist aerosols, and the like at a mutually agreed upon price. Any additional requested work not in this janitorial proposal will be performed at a mutually agreed-upon price. The initial term of this agreement shall be 1 year from the start date of service. Either party shall have the option, with or without cause, to terminate this agreement at any time with 30 days written notice. In the event that West Kentucky Janitorial LLC continues to provide service to Marsh County Judicial Building beyond the initial term of this agreement, it is agreed that this agreement will continue in effect until 30 days written notice is given by either party. Invoicing will be on the 1st of the current month, due on the 20th of the same month. Monthly janitorial services will be $4,325 plus any applicable taxes and/or any specialty work pricing and/or any consumable products as spelled out in point 3. Any modifications to this agreement needs to be mutually agreed upon by both parties and in writing. This agreement entered in between, so that's their service agreement. One more. This is small town cleaning. This is a bid for janitorial services, 5 days per week for duties listed. We supply our own products, or could you yours, whichever is most convenient to you, for a total of $3,000 per month with supplies, or $2,700 without. All payments must be received each month and must be paid within 15 days of date of invoice. We are licensed, insured, and bonded. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us, Ms. Leanne Cope. Okay, so those are the bids that came in. Does anybody got any questions?
Could you go over those again? I missed line 3.
If we got to tell the audience at home that they could skip ahead
Skip
about 10
and go
minutes.
take a break.
So who do we use currently, and what's the amount on that, do you know?
We
Anybody?
use West Kentucky janitorial
Kentucky
services.
janitorial,
Yeah,
okay.
I think theirs is down.
Currently paid in $38.75,
Okay.
and we provide all the.
Which is the same, right? I mean, the 4325 is without supplies, right? I think that's,
Yes. The
is it in the service agreement, I think it mentions,
I think we paid $3,600. Is that right for the supplies? We have budgeted $3,600.
Yeah, it's about $300 to $400.
Okay. So 48 plus the 4,800 plus the 3,600 in supplies
what we currently,
is what we're doing right now. So they dropped it to 4325. If we still go with the supplies being provided, you can add 3,600 to that.
$3,600
Annually, yes.
So we've got 3 bids that are under that?
We've
Okay.
got one bid that is lowest, which is 3,000 per year with supplies, or 2,700 without. So 3,000 with supplies, 2,700 without. And all this says is it just provides janitorial services 5 days a week for the duties that were listed. And the duties that were listed were, ALC has a list of services that they will reimburse. So we use that same language. But
Tiffany,
there was another one that was under it, but I don't think
yeah,
that it was
this one,
$650 a month, so there's no way you could,
I'm not sure that person understands what.
I don't think so.
no,
Yeah,
650.
There's no way on it.
I agree that this one, tailored crews for general cleaning, janitorial services for 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, monthly, semi-annual, and annual duties, a bid of $650 a month for all services.
I mean, there's no way one person can do a 48,000 square foot building.
Not for that.
Not for 650.
Well, no, that either, yeah.
They're gonna be working at 1940s wages at that price.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd probably get sued for that. So but the 2,700 or 3,000, well, let's say 2,700 since we're taking the supplies out of it so that we're looking at every, there's no explanation on it though as to whether they're agreeing to every one of those terms or how many people. We don't know really anything with that.
Right.
Tiffany seen those bids? Has Tiffany seen those? Tiffany Griffith?
Brad, I believe, sent that to the judges and Tiff. Let me read this.
Well, I think the final authority comes from I think we can recommend, I think the final sign-off comes from AOC on that.
Yes, there'll be definitely a contingency.
Yeah.
Since we've got all these bids, I would recommend we pick one, send it to AOC, and let AOC determine if that's who they want.
And they can negotiate at that point. Some of them talk about negotiable, which seems strange to me in a bid process. But
Yeah, and what we got to make sure that we don't get ourselves in is where if there are negotiable services for a price, if AOC doesn't acknowledge it, then they won't reimburse. And so we can be stuck with a bill at the end of the year that we'll have to eat.
Yeah.
So,
So ALC though, they can
well,
negotiate that, or
what we would do is submit what the bid has been presented, and then ALC will determine which one they'll support. If we look at what we've done in the past, we send it off to them. I think we only had one bid last time we did this. The West Kentucky Janitorial, I think was, well, no, I take it back. Wasn't there? There was another bid, but it was on like a Taco Bell menu card, so it wasn't a very. I wouldn't consider that a bid, but technically
That was for mowing. That one was for
Okay,
mowing. Yeah.
my bad. That was for mowing. So we submitted that to ALC, and they approved the contract. But let me read this real quick. I didn't read this. This is from Magic Steam. We would first like to thank you for allowing us to bid the facility maintenance at the Marshall County Judicial Building. Our bid will include all the scope of work outlined in the bid packet. On our walkthrough, we discussed several things. The one thing that stood out the most was making sure we all were there during the day to take care of all cleaning that needs to be done. We also talked about Magic Steam supplying all cleaning supplies along with toiletries, paper towels, hand soap, trash bags, and sanitizer. Our bid will include that being provided by our company. Our bid will also include all carpet being professionally steam cleaned twice per year, spot cleaned when needed, all tile and grout being professionally steam cleaned twice per year, the building and all surrounding sidewalks being pressure washed once per year, the flooring in the basement to be stripped and waxed once per year. We will provide the chemical, wax, and equipment to do all the aforementioned. Our bid will also include having 2 janitorial staff at your facility full-time and 1 part-time janitorial worker there to keep your employees from being pulled off their regular jobs to do needed cleaning throughout the day. We're willing to negotiate our bid. Magic Steam wants to earn your business. Any questions or concerns, please reach out to Brandy. We are very concentrated on customer service, and we have the knowledge and know how to take care of your facility and keep it looking like it should at all times. So the So that's their cover letter, I guess, for their bid.
One little issue that comes up sometimes, but not often, is what happens during the day when something happens. And I'll just give you an instance. You know, every now and then we have people who bring in their own urine for their own nefarious purposes, and then one day it spilled, and so Tiffany and I, we cleaned up the urine that was brought in to beat a drug test. So that's one issue that comes up sometimes, is that what happens during the day when there's not somebody there to clean up a mess. So,
And I think they're the only ones that addressed that, right? I mean, West Kentucky Janitorial, do they actually have someone there during the day? So
Not that I've seen.
It's all after hours.
but Magic Steam is is $10,000 a month. So I mean,
Yeah, it's a huge
they're
difference.
4 times what the other ones are.
Yeah,
So-
it's $10,000 a month. Currently, what we pay is $12,000 after ALC's the 80/20. So with the current contract with West Kentucky Janitorial, our cost is $12,000.
For the year.
You would increase that, yeah, for the year. Yeah, you would increase that by another 12, but then I think they said they provide all the janitorial supplies.
Yeah, but still.
So you would be increasing it another 12,000. So if you look at the 80/20, our cost annually would be 24,000.
Has the service from West
What?
Kentucky been satisfactory?
Sorry, kid.
The service from West Kentucky been satisfactory for the last year?
I know there has been some complaints to Brad's office, but I think the biggest one is what Jason was saying, is that, you know, somebody walks in with a sick kid and they throw up on the floor, who's going to clean it up?
Which, I mean, obviously the other bid is from 2 employees, one of them in your own office. So it's a positive that they would be there, but they are there on
Yeah, I can't-
your time.
Yeah.
Not,
Can't.
you can't let them go. So we have to look at those two folks as only after hours also. So to
And
me,
another
Magic
issue-
Steam's the only one that would have dedicated folks there. which
Another
is a
issue with
plus.
those 2 girls is that they would need, in their own self-interest, they would need to get a clearance letter from retirement before they could start taking a 1099 from us, because
Yeah.
I don't know that retirement would let them participate in a state and county retirement system and draw a 1099 as an independent contractor from a participant in the retirement system. I don't know that that's even possible.
Yeah, I think that would be an issue. And again, I think for us, we just need to identify, preferably in order, because we'll submit it to ALC, and ALC is going to determine that they will give their opinion if they're going to approve this one or that one.
Here's a suggestion that I just thought of. What if one of the 4 of you served as not as a committee, but as a liaison along
group.
with somebody from the judicial building, whether or not that's Tiffany or one of the judges. The 2 of you go over these bids, do checks, background checks, get references, things like that, and then come back with the recommendation for the court. How does that sound?
Yeah, now the background checks, to my understanding, they have to submit the information to ALC, and ALC does the background checks. Okay.
Or at least references.
Or, yeah,
them.
or-
Is that what-
Not necessarily background checks, that may have been a bad word, but references. You know, see if you can find
References,
out.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Do we want to task Brad with that?
He's not here.
I mean,
That's the way it's done at church.
He's basically been the one that's been involved with this, but
Yeah.
and he's already had that line of communication there.
Sounds good to me. Yeah.
If there, again, if there was one area of complaint, it would be that nobody's there during the day.
Yeah, but it's 2.5 times the costs, so.
Yeah, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
which for us, it's twice.
I don't know,
current,
even if you sent that one up there, I'm not sure AOC.
You're
would
right,
even
that's
approve
what I
that.
was
Right.
just about
Yeah.
to say. They
Right.
probably don't care
Yeah.
that there's full-time people there. They care that the bid is 2.5 times the,
Yeah, they're gonna be looking at the bottom line,
Right.
that's it. So.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so do we want to task Brad to work with Judge Mattingly, or someone from the Judicial Center?
Circuit judge, so.
And then they can go through, check the references, and we meet the second, so it's a couple, not too far off.
Should we be requiring background checks? I mean,
Yeah, AOC
AOC
does.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They will actually, they will have to, we will have to present the basic information that they require, and then they do that. I think you've got where you have dedicated people coming into the building. I think currently they have had some other folks from their company come in and clean. If I remember Brad telling me that with the current company that we have, and I think they bid that they would be dedicated solely to the Judicial Center. So, I mean, things happen, but that's what was bid. And when you get into ALC, you know, that doesn't fly. So, because there are sensitive areas within that facility. So, okay. Do we need an action on that, or I can task him with it? Either one. You just
Let's go ahead.
take an action. Okay. So would there be a motion to direct Brad to work with Judge Mattingly to go through the references on these and find a bid that they can concur on to submit to ALC?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. We'll go ahead on the intra-fund transfer.
Gonna transfer from the grant fund to the general fund for $299,930.
Is there
Motion to approve transfer.
a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Appropriations transfer.
We've got an appropriation transfer from courthouse custodial and health insurance to courthouse repairs of $1,500. And a transfer from election supplies to county judge executive office supplies for $268.80. And then a transfer from bridges in the road department to county paving of $41,303. Transfer from fiscal court advertising to fiscal court filming for $1,000. And a transfer from 911 miscellaneous to 911 travel of $3.16.
Motion to approve transfer.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Treasurer's report.
There is no treasurer's report.
There is no treasurer's report.
She didn't give it to me. She was a little preoccupied last week. Alright, for the month ending March 31st, 2019, the general fund had a Book balance of $1,359,735.93. Bank balance of $1,378,578.67. Road fund, book balance $311,113.84. Bank balance $400,693.81. Jail fund $276,231.97. Bank balance $136,588.11. Grant fund book balance $1,086.92. Bank balance also $1,086.92. 911 fund, book balance $45,487.60. Bank balance $46,196.34. Occupational tax administrator, book balance $5,364,451.76. Bank balance $5,295,088.53. ABC fund $206,456.98. Bank balance $206,456.98. Building inspection fund, book balance $53,615.08. Bank balance $53,244.47. Total reporting funds, book balance $7,618,180.08. Bank balance $7,517,933.83. The payroll fund is a revolving fund and therefore not reported. Grand total $7,899,284.11. Bank balance $7,804,794.35.
Approved treasurer's report, subject to audit.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Judge, one quick item. Did you get an email from Dennis Smith about the naming of the main entrance to the southwest one?
He came by yesterday and discussed it.
Did you want to,
Take action on that?
the IDA met yesterday and they wanted to go ahead and name the main entrance to Southwest One Industrial Park. And so they wanted to run it by the city council and the fiscal court to get approval from both bodies before they said, okay, this is what the naming of it's going to be. So
Okay.
the name they came up with was Monty Collins Boulevard.
So
No.
moved.
No, just kidding.
Is there a second?
No. That was second choice.
Died for the
Yeah.
lack of a second.
Southwest One Boulevard is what they want to name the main entrance. So
And the city council approved that.
I don't know. The city council met last. Do you know?
Last
Did
night.
they talk about that last night?
Southwest One Boulevard.
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And,
Can we just have the Monty Collins Way?
Well, we
in
got
the-
other roads that are going to
Right.
be named. So there's still a chance, Monty.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty long.
Need a motion to payment of the bills.
Motion to pay the bills.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We need a motion going into executive session for personnel.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Basically, we are still under negotiations, so as far as court, we would need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.